Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO. And yes, I want to give you sound, educational, practical tips and advice at the same time making sure that you're enjoying the family journey that you are on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in.
Hello, friend. Hey, how is the fall season treating you? Well, let's see. The 2024 presidential election is over. Thank goodness. I think, is it over? I'm not real sure. It still feels like politics is trying to take center stage in our lives. As someone who tends to be more observant than elated or dejected, I am going to suggest we take back control of our lives and let politics go, at least as much as we can control things, and learn to keep our cool. If you are super happy right now, that is awesome. And I want good things for our country too, a good economy, better education, increased safety, all good things, of course. But if you're worried or fearful, yeah, I think your feelings are also very valid. I will tell you from experience, journaling help. Getting involved in any local issues that could help you feel empowered if you're feeling less than powerful right now. Praying. I am a big believer in the power of prayer, and I am praying for our country. I was 4 years ago, and I will be 4 years from now, and I do today. I pray for our country and our country's leaders. I was thinking about how my feeling of being generally unaffected is probably my own form of self-protection. It's not that I'm apathetic, but I can only control so much. And I make a practice of keeping my cool for my own sanity above all things. And it was Byron Katie who taught me years ago that you can fight with reality all you like, but just remember it will win, but only 100% of the time. That reality check is a good one. So if you have friends or maybe family members who are no longer talking to you, I have several friends who have said they are taking the holidays off this year, or they had family members who said, we are taking holidays off this year, meaning everyone should just go do their own thing. We don't want to be together, which just kind of breaks my heart. But okay, you should probably oblige and just say, if that's what you want, I support you. The thing is, I want to remind all of us, including myself, that we don't have to do any of this from a place of anger or bitterness. All of us can keep our cool, regardless of the temperature. Relationships are challenging. They are challenging in ways we relate, communicate, empathize across all of the divide. And if we are not intentional in those thoughts and the feelings and the action, well, our outcomes will lead to judgment and frustration and maybe even lack of understanding. And that doesn't serve anybody. If instead we could just see these moments in time as opportunities to strengthen relationships by practicing patience, being open-minded, developing deeper understanding of each person's unique experience and value, I do believe good can and will come out of it. So, how does this all tie in to the podcast that I put out every week? I've been thinking about this and listening to all of this. I always am reminded how it all begins in our homes. So, when we within our family are not all on the same page, and I'm first talking about that political unrest that's going on out there, but as we bring it back into the home space, This could be so many other things. You could be fighting with your child about how he's not using his time wisely, being wasteful of it. Maybe you don't think your daughter's trying hard enough. You know her potential, you see her potential, and that's creating some friction. Maybe you're getting exhausted because you keep asking for a job to get done and you shouldn't have to ask more than once, but you do. And you're working on how to keep your cool. You name it. I don't know what all your situations are, but I'm hoping something just popped into your mind as you think about your relationship with your children or one child in particular. I want to talk today about ways we can keep calm and also nurture those relationships that we have with our children. Those are some of the most important relationships we will ever experience. And I have 3 thoughts to offer you on this topic. Again, I spend a lot of time just thinking. I go on long walks. Every morning I walk and I often do it unplugged, meaning it's my quiet time. It's when my mind can just be still. And so I think and I think and I think. And I've noticed that through the years, homeschooling moms often bear an extra weight on their shoulders when it comes to their relationship with their children. Now, I'm sure dads do too, but it's mostly moms who shared those relationship struggles with me. And so today I thought I could share some insights that may help you navigate moments when your parent and child relationship feels especially strained. And yes, you perhaps could apply what I'm about to share with other family members or even friends that you're experiencing a strain with right now. And your goal is to just keep your cool and show up as the best version of you. So, hopefully, these 3 mindset shift suggestions will unlock some homeschool harmony. Do you like that? Homeschool harmony. I like that. And keep the focus on learning and growth and just a healthy family bond. You ready? Let's do it. Number 1, remember, you are not your child. Sometimes I think parents are so connected to their children, they feel like they are one. I hear parents say, if my child is failing, then I am failing. If my child is hurt, then I am hurt. If my child is sad, then I am sad. Okay, but is it really true? I think that's worth exploring. I do agree that parents absolutely shape their children's early environment, but children are still unique individuals. They're going to grow up with their own perspectives and personalities. They're going to make their own life choices. And while we can influence that, we do not define who they get to become. We do not have that kind of power. How many of you have tried? You know this to be true. Hopefully, you just let out a breath that you were holding in. Did you? Were you like, okay, so there's nothing wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that. You are not your child. I really want that to free you up a bit. A lot of us carry so much because we're carrying our own weight and the weight of our children and the decisions that our children are making or how they're showing up or how they're not showing up. The fact is that children do absorb what they see and what they hear from us, but they are also interpreting and questioning and deciding on things independently of us. Yes, they get to have their own thoughts and their own experiences. They're going to handle situations in their own ways, especially as they get older and older. And while we, as the parents, certainly can guide them and teach them, we're not solely responsible for every choice our child makes. And we don't have to constantly agree with them or try to make them agree with us. This individuality is part of each child's journey toward becoming a responsible, self-directed adult. And isn't that what we want? It really is. So if they don't think like you or they don't do things the way that you wish that they would, take a deep breath and just say, it's okay. because you are not your child. Your child is his or her own individual being. You are never meant to be exactly alike, and that's okay. The second mindset suggestion that I would like to offer is that we should show ourselves the same grace we show our children. I want you to think on that for just a second. I think it's amazing how much love and grace and patience and forgiveness we as parents offer our kids when we see them struggling. But I really start to question if we are showing ourselves that same kind of grace. I know I don't always. And so I just want to suggest that if you're giving your child understanding when they do make mistakes, please remember to show yourself that same kindness. Homeschooling adds complex layers to our daily lives. But if you could just focus on paying attention and allowing yourself the same compassion that you extend to your children, I think both of you win. So if life is going on and you blow it in some way, you say something you wish you hadn't, you approach a situation in a way that you wish you could erase and do a redo. It happens to all of us. Just own it, take a deep breath, rethink the situation. What might you do different? Apologize, perhaps if necessary, and then give love and grace and mercy to yourself for being human. Don't let the person that you're losing your cool with be you. You have to remember to be kind to yourself. Finally, my last mindset shift suggestion is to focus on what you can control. Here's what I know. I can only truly control my thoughts and my emotions and my responses. And my guess is that's about the same power you have. You can control your thoughts, your emotions, and your responses. So when your children or family members of other degrees, friends unhappy with life in general, react negatively, or they make decisions that you might disagree with or I might disagree with, we want to remember it isn't a reflection on us. And so even though it might feel natural to sometimes think, oh, did my child do that because of something I did? Or you might even wonder, did I do something wrong? And now that has shaped my child. Instead, reframe it. I used to have monthly meetings with families that were homeschooling. And every month they would bring their work and we would look over all the subject matters. I had asked this child something, I don't even remember what it was, but the response was taken as rude. It was it was not respectful the way he spoke back. And I just remember like my eyebrows, I'm sure, jumped up like, oh, wasn't expecting that. And the mother said, oh my goodness, great. Look at this. I am raising a very rude child. And that could have just been a comment said, but I want us to be really careful of the statements that come out of our mouth because to some degree it's a thought. And that thought, great, I'm raising a rude child, is not a very helpful thought. And you can control that. Here's the thing. Children are children and they're learning. They're always learning. So a better thought could be like, my child, there's a great example. He's learning. I'm going to keep teaching. And then turn to the child and say, sweetheart, a better response to a teacher would have been this. And just use it as a teaching opportunity. My point is to focus on positive and constructive beliefs. Catch your thoughts, take every thought captive, and just make sure that it is a thought that is serving you and you like the emotions it's creating and you like how you're acting based on what that thought or that belief happens to be. I promise you'll feel more empowered. With that, you'll model growth better and resilience, all while keeping your cool at the same time. So here's a quick recap. If you feel like I have got to keep my cool, I need to keep my head on straight, here's what I want you to do. Separate yourself from all others. You are you, and you are the only person that you are in charge of. Yes, you must take care of your children, but the goal isn't to make them mini versions of yourself. Just like if you have a sister or a sister-in-law or a mother-in-law that you are not on the same page with, it's okay. You are you. You are not the other people in your life. You are you. Number 2, there's no reason to be hard on yourself. Show some kindness. The world needs more kindness. So if you do lash out, if you do say something you regret, give yourself a little grace, then offer kindness to the other people it may have affected. And number 3, remember to control what you can. And that should start with your thoughts and your thinking. So if you want to believe that everything's going to be okay, I love that thought. Everything is okay is a thought that I go to often when I start to feel anxious about something. Everything's going to be okay. I know that to be true because I look at how far I've come in my life in the many decades I've lived. And even when I thought things were really bad, I look at my life today and I say, it's all okay. I got through that. I'll get through this. So start with your thinking and control what you can. Every day, we get to make a step on a journey that is sure to give us all kinds of great life experiences. And homeschooling is one of those great journeys, and it can bring you and your family and your children together in ways that, yes, well, sometimes can feel challenging. Absolutely. But with healthy boundaries and a focus again on what you can control, I believe that you and your child will grow stronger together, and everyone will be able to practice how to keep their cool in doing so. So stay cool, my friend. Right on.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.